Ghostface is OP!
Is that the state of the community right now? I think it is.
Ghostface is OP!
No, he's not. Leave Ghostface alone. He just came out, dude. He just came out. This is the same situation as Freddy. We have a killer in Ghostface who is obviously viable. There is no disputing that at this point. Ghostface is obviously viable, and he's obviously good, and I don't think we need to tone him down yet. He just came out. No one knows Counterplay yet. Not nice frame drop, am I right? But like, nobody knows Counterplay yet. We are in no position to say whether or not this character needs nerfs. And are we forgetting that Ghostface is a few nerfs away from being complete non-viable trash? Do we all just forget that? This character's like 3 nerfs away from being the worst killer in the game. So let's not just forget that. But we're at a state of the game where he is obviously viable, and it needs to stay that way for the time being. If Ghostface is dismantling the red ranks 3 weeks from now, then we can nerf him a little bit. But right now, no one's in any position to say this character needs nerfs. And so I took it upon myself as a killer main. I played Ghostface. I played Ghostface quite a bit. He's very good. But I think everybody already knows that. So I took it upon myself to play a lot more Survivor and try to develop a counter strategy to Ghostface. Since nobody else will, instead of going on Dead by Daylight forums and just claiming he's OP, I decided to try to work on some counter strategies. Which leads me to what we're talking about today, and like what the past 6 videos I've been making about. The perk Object of Obsession, I'm beginning to think is a very underutilized perk in the Survivor's metagame. As a killer main, I have never seen this perk in my life. I had not played 1 game against this perk. So, my experience here is solely based on the gameplay I've done as a Survivor, and nothing else. So, with that out of the way, let's get started here, dude. My idea was just like, okay, well, if Ghostface relies on not being seen, let's run the perk that you can always see him. And how much does that actually negate the character? Well, it is much harder for Ghostface to get adequate stalking on the person running Object of Obsession because of shit like this that I'm doing right now. Always knowing where he is, making sure I'm always behind things, never in his direct line of sight, always making sure that aura is the thing I can see. And waiting for points of the match where he's just ignoring me to go fix generators. It's a perk about picking your moments and picking your spots. You have to know what to do. And always knowing where this character is horribly negates him. See, he could not sneak up on me. I mean, like, he might have been after that guy, to be fair. But, like, in terms of me, he couldn't actually adequately get me right there. I think he does actually end up getting me right there. No? Not yet? I mean, chases will happen. I'm not going to say they're not going to happen. Like, that's the thing. You get so much additional benefit. So, let's go over it. Well, I'm going to talk about Object of Obsession purely on paper from the killer's standpoint really fast. I was trying to negate his power there, which is why he was able to stalk me so much. But, like, because I'm trying to figure out what you got to do to actually negate the power. So the fact that I got exposed there was completely my fault. Not Ghostface being good, which, I mean, he is good. But, like, that particular expose was my fault, and then he just ends up losing me. So, that's fun. But, okay. And again, that's the player being bad, not Ghostface. I understand that. That's the player being bad. So purely from a killer's standpoint, what can killers do about this? Next to nothing. Next to nothing. They can see your aura, which you think is a benefit on paper. But, like, I mean, and it is. There's a lot of good things about, a lot of bad things for the Survivor that the killer can see your aura. But think about it this way. You are not the only Survivor on the map. There are 3 other Survivors each doing gens, looking for totems, stuff like that, each trying to counterplay you in their own individual way. The killer needs to adequately patrol the map. Like, sometimes, I'm not going to deny, sometimes you get bad spawns and you're right next to them and then the killer's on you in the first 30 seconds. That's something that happens. But if you get a good spawn and you two literally start the map across from each other, the killer isn't necessarily going to want to beeline straight towards you, especially if they see another survivor on the way to you. They need to start a chase as soon as possible and start building up their momentum. So are they going to go after you, or are they going to go after the guy they find in 30 seconds? They need to adequately patrol the map and worry about the three others as well. So they can't necessarily be focused on you, but some can. I haven't been necessarily tunneled, but like I posted about this on Facebook in the Facebook group for Dead by Day. Like, what the fuck is up with this perk and why does nobody run it? And one guy was like, well, it basically just makes you a target for tunneling. Well, it's because like you're getting tunneled, especially in the Survive with Friends group when you have so much knowledge and you can just relay that to your whole team. Like, the killer needs you dead fast, so he's gonna be tunneling you. The thing about that, though, think about it this way. There's so much anti-tunneling play right now. Obviously, you see I'm running Soul Survivor, but that combo was heavily nerfed due to the endgame collapse. But, because, like, the killer's never being able to see your aura doesn't actually matter if, one, whispers, and two, he baits you to the gates anyway. So it doesn't actually matter. But, so, you know, just dumb shit like that. So, like, but there's anti-tunneling stuff. So after I realized the combo was nerfed, I eventually just start running D-Strike over Soul Survivor, which I think is a much better choice in today's meta. Look at us, dude. Look at us. So you run the decision to run D-Strike, borrow time, body blocking, baton passing. There's so many ways that anti-tunneling can happen, or to the point that, like, anti-tunneling is such a big thing in this game now, with stuff like that. So, like, yes, not everybody runs borrow time because they're dumb, but, like, if we are playing by Survivor rules really fast and saying that Survive with Friends is okay, which I don't think it is, but if Survive with Friends is an okay thing to do, then you could potentially find a squad where at least one person is bringing the perk borrow time, and then you also have Decisive Strike if the borrow time fails. So there are methods for you to not get tunneled, or at least make it really take a hecking long time to do that. So that, like, he's like, well, it just makes you a target for tunneling. Well, what about all the anti-tunneling play that exists? You just kind of run those with Object of Obsession to make the tunnel not as bad, or like make it take so much time that the killer's gonna, at least two people are getting out anyway. You know what I mean? Keep the game a tie, at least. Yeah, you might die, but if we're going by Identity 5 rules here, two people get out as a draw, then if you can make that tunnel last to make two people get out at least, you at least tie the match right there. So, there's that. But let's talk about, okay, when you're a killer, like, the survivor seeing your aura is actually way worse than I thought it was to begin with. The fact that it links you to is actually way worse than I thought it was. Because first of all, if you're like me, and you're an actual killer main, it feeds you information about what the killer is doing, and since that's the area of the game I know better, I can kind of predict where he's going to go next, what he's going to do, what he's going to do, stuff like that. Basically influence his next move based on what has just happened, and that's actually pretty powerful, because I can influence where I'm going to go. Like, I can influence based on where I am on the map. Like, is he going to come for me now, or is he going to go for somebody that's closer to him? Like, what's the killer going to do? And since that's, again, my area of expertise, it allows me to position myself as a survivor to one of the safe spots on the map, or the generator that I want to rush. Because I think the best way to run Object of Obsession is to bring a toolbox that can rush a gen in like not 30 seconds, but like, you know what I mean. engineers are commodious that can rush a generator pretty fast. So you can, engineers preferred because it gets the gen done faster. And realistically, you're not doing as many gens when you're running this strategy. You're going to do 1 or maybe 2 at the most. But, like, so, yeah, so you can see the killer at all times, and you can put yourself in a position where you're not actually going to get chased. Or if you think you are, I think this is where I make the decision to put D-Strike on. I'm thinking about either because, like, let me tell you why you don't need borrow time when you run object. Because you're only going to go for saves if you know the saves are safe, because you know that. You don't need to run borrow time because you know where the killer is at all point. If he's near, don't go for the save. If he's, like, you know what I mean. I thought about running empathy, because then I would just be able to see, like, everybody Zora, but I thought that might be interesting. That might be an interesting combo. But I think the balanced landing offering more chase potential is better. Object of Obsession combined with, like, Empathy and Medkit might be an interesting combination. I think this perk has versatility that nobody actually cares about, and that's what like bothers me about it. Because, like, I've never seen it ran, and it's been helping me so much. Okay, so sometimes another strategy that I do with Object is when I know the killer is near me, I run to the map's safe spots. Because it's like, okay, I'm technically within your range, so you can come get me, but I'm also at the safest spot on the map. So if you come and get me, this chase is going to take a long time. That's what I want to communicate to the killer when we see each other's auras. So yeah, you see my aura at the safe spot on the map. Come at me, bro, is what I essentially... I'm not really saying come at me, bro. I'm just basically telling the killer I'm here, but this is going to take a while. And I have balance landing, too, to make some of the map's safe spots even safer. Which is why, like, those kites I did on them Ghostfaces, like, yeah, they were 2 minutes and over, but he had so many people dead that it didn't actually matter how long I kited him. So it's like, yeah, you might get left alone if you run this perk. Which, I mean, I usually have a mix. I haven't been entirely left alone, and I haven't been entirely tunneled. I always fall somewhere in between. So, and then so I always do that. I always run to the safe spots and kind of challenge him. But, and then, another good thing about this perk is that it also counters Ghostface's power, being that he turns off his red stain. Everyone, like, he turns off his red stain, which adds to his mix-up game. Not if you're running object, it doesn't, because you can see him through the walls. You can literally react to everything he does, and you'll see that. And because you can do that, it turns spots of the map that aren't necessarily loops into, like, I call them half loops. There are spots on the map where you can circle for a little bit before running to a different spot. I actually have an example of one a little bit later. This is going to be a very unfocused video, but, like, I'm just kind of commenting over these games at the same time, talking about the benefits of the perk. So I'm looking. Okay, see, here she comes. You see the pig. I know exactly where she is on the map right now. She's in the top right corner. Her next play, she sees me, is definitely going to be come down. Now, this isn't Survive with Friends. Like, the only bad thing about this, I am going to lure her to my teammate. That is a weakness of the perk. Because you can't really do anything with anybody. This is why, in order to maximize this perk's potential, admittedly, you have to do Survive with Friends. Admittedly. Because I can't really communicate what he's doing. So I still think she's coming for me. So I'm going to keep just kind of starting the chase early. Because the thing is, since I'm not a main killer, I'm not that good in the chase, although object does give you a benefit in the chase. I'm going to always make sure that, like, I'm a step ahead of her. Now, why she doesn't immediately come for me, I don't know here, because I think she could have stopped me from getting her ruin. But she decided to apply pressure on the other guy. And I'm just saying, like, you're going to let me cleanse it, I'm going to do it. Because that was, like, that's not object being good. Again, that's the killer deciding to let me take out ruin in exchange for the down. Gets bear trap on, but it's like, okay, I know that that generator has been worked on, and I know where you are, so I get to be able to safely rush back over to it and start working on it again. I was able to determine my next play based on what the killer was doing. And that is so fucking good. Like, okay, like, and then we'll talk about balanced landing in a minute, because there's a lot of ways you can use it with this setup, which is why I think it's the best perk to run. Definitely not sprint burst, because when you play object, you run a lot more. So we popped a gen. Always, we're at the shack now. He got me there. He did get me there. I'll give him that. I wasn't looking at him, so I didn't get to see the stain. That was a misplay on my part. But like back to balanced landing. The thing you can do with balanced landing is you can determine if you want to use it to like go for a safer play, like a save. Like if you see the killer's like leaving, you want to get the save as fast as possible. You can like get from a high spot and go down to get the save safer than it would have been otherwise. And I do that. I don't know if I do it in any of these games. I don't remember. But or you can use it in the chase. So like balanced landing has versatility with this strategy, which is why I think it's a very good. It's the best exhaustion perk to run with object, and just the best exhaustion perk in the game all around. Okay, so what are we doing here? I'm once again getting a heal, because this heal is safe because of where she is. Again, she can try to stop me from doing it, but she loses time on everybody else, especially when Ruin was just taken out and she doesn't have time to spend. So it's safer to just let me get the heal. So it's like, and since I know that, that's something that I just know. It allows me to like play the game in the killer's shoes too, which I think this is a killer main's dream perk for a survivor. This is the best thing a killer main can run when you are a survivor, in my opinion. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit up here. Just see what she decides to do. Okay, so now she's going to come in here. And then she's coming, and so, okay, balance landing. Here we go. And then I do, and like, okay. She's coming, she's going to get this hit, because instead of going up the stairs like I should have, I tried to vault the window. I don't know why. I keep relying on windows. The hitboxes are just so big. And then, like, we're not looking at each other, so the aura doesn't go off. That's why we don't see her, because she's not looking. So moonwalking as a killer is important against this. Making sure you're like never looking directly at the person running object of obsession. That's the killer's main counterplay to it. You have to make sure you're not looking at them, which can be hard to do. Especially like, I'm an idiot here, dude. I tried to hide from her. I should have just ran when I know she lost me. That would have built more space and made it take more time. But you know, these few games, I was still kind of getting my feet wet in the perk, so I didn't really exactly really know what I was doing with it yet. So I'm still making mistakes early on, but that's fine. Okay, so okay, I'm getting hooked. I always like to evaluate my progress. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm hooked, sure, but like, we're winning right now. It's fine that I took the hook here. Because, like, you're not gonna, like, never get down if you run this. That's not what I'm saying. You're gonna get down. Taking it down, and, like, sometimes it's also just the correct play for you to take that down. Especially if you know that you haven't taken it down yet. But that works for anything. Okay, so, right now I'm beginning to think I'm kind of in a bad situation, because the tunnel now would be extremely, like, hard to prevent. But she doesn't tunnel me. Debatably, she should have. I'm thinking, fuck, dude, why would you do that? But I'm thinking now she's gonna come after me. But I don't think she does, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, gotta get the bear trap off. And since now, I think this is an interesting point, and I think now we're gonna start talking about it. She decides to leave me. I'm thinking now she's gonna come after me. I mean, okay, does she come after me? It's technically the correct play for Pig to not come after people who have bear traps on. So I think that's what her mindset was. But because I was running object, I think it might have been the correct play for her to actually commit to me, especially this late in the game, because I was the freest down in her vicinity there. I think she should have came after me a little bit. I'm not sure, but anyway. This is where I talk about the control that the survivor has over the perk. See, the killer. This is why I say the killer can do next to nothing about this perk. The killer, since they have to adequately patrol the map, look at the generators, chase survivors, which can involve looping and, you know, all that stuff. So you're going around in like a consistent circle. You can't really control when you're looking at the survivor who has object. because of the things you are forced to do as the killer. The survivor, on the other hand, has way more control over the situation. When I don't want to show him my aura, I don't have to. So I don't have to show him my aura if I don't think it's the correct play to do so. So that's why I throw it out as bait sometimes. Like right now I'm kind of throwing it out as bait. Because like I see he's halfway across the map, he sees I'm healing, but he's not taking it, but like it's okay, I get the heal. It's either he comes after me and abandons what he's doing, he, she, I'm just gonna say he because I'm assuming the guy playing the thing is a male. So he has to come after me. And so like, okay, now I know I'm super safe. So like we're so ahead right now. And like I didn't like waste all of his time, but like I was able to make better decisions because of how better the fact I knew where he was. It's either there's like two types of games you can run with this perk. It's either the games where you have insane kites by seeing them through the walls and shit, or the game where you make good plays not near him. You know what I mean? You can make better plays based on the fact that you're not being chased. And I think this game wasn't my best kite because I was still kind of learning the perk. I am learning the perk. And so we just have to rush this last gem, which I'm going to do right now because I know where he is. There's this perk negates stealth killers really bad. And like honestly, like this perk has bad matchups too. Anybody like Nurse, I don't think this perk's going to be good against Nurse because of how fast she can down people. Same thing with Billy, how fast he can get to you. I think it's going to be harder to play it against him. Spirit, I don't know about Spirit. I played against a Spirit that didn't phase walk against this. We all escaped because he didn't phase walk. She was just playing base killer 110 movement speed, which was garbage. So I don't know if you can see Spirit when she's phase walking or not. I don't know. Since this is just kind of a new perk for me, I kind of like don't know how it relates to everybody on the roster yet. Like Freddy's invisible. How does that work against him? Like I don't know stuff like that yet, admittedly, since I haven't played it against all the killers with this, because I'm kind of a baby running this. So picks her up. We start it, and then like the guy's down. So whatever, dude. Whew. And so this is kind of interesting too, because I'm like, okay, he just hooked. I see which direction she's going, so now I'm just like, okay, it's safe to open the gate. I kind of let him do it because he got there first, admittedly. But then like I see her coming, and so like I kind of like try to tell him, communicate to him that she's here, which is like I wish there was like a universal language for the game. Make her whiff that. I see she's still coming for me, so I don't go for the save. Is that in like she's still after me? I still got balance landing, so I'd use it. I'm just waiting for them to get the save and for the gates to be open. And so she abandons chase because people do that a lot when you're running object. It allows the gates to be open. There you go, boys. Easy. Like this perk's best benefit is the positioning that it allows you to get before chases happen. You could, again, like, oof. So, like, I just kind of leave this guy for dead, but, like, that's fine. I know Identity 5, you gotta be the sacrifice. Also, I think he's just dead. Is he just dead? I don't remember, fuck it. Oh, feels bad, man. But it's okay, she pushed me out. I would never abandon my teammates. I got pushed out. I actually don't know if he lived or died just because I assume he died just because of the bear trap. But like, so I think we probably got a 3-1 there. Victory, easy. I haven't safety pit since running this. I've always like ranked up. I haven't D-ranked. I safety pit once. Blackwater Swamp. I think we're back on track with the Ghostface here. This is the game where I realized just how dangerous it could be. Okay, now this is one of those games where I got the bad spawn. See, he started at the corner that was like right next to me. So like my spawn here was bad. I didn't have enough time to like adequately get where I needed to go. So yes, he made the correct play by coming for me first. I can't really like say he didn't. I did not attempt to counterplay his perk at all. Not his power, just because of where I was. I was trying to find positioning to do so. But like, okay, I know where I'm at the killer shack, but I'm not gonna be stupid and drop God pallet like instantly, because that's gay. So but at the same time, I'm not really that good at looping it. So I just decided to get away from it because I assume the basement's there. Tried to juke him, but you know, so you just get down. I did my best with the spawn I was given. That was not a good spawn for the perk, which is one of the perk's weaknesses. This is objective. We're doing strengths and weaknesses here. The weaknesses of this perk are the spawns, mostly, the fact that it kind of does make you a bit of a target in some situations, and the fact that you can lure him to your teammates. That's the biggest weaknesses of the perk. Strengths of the perk, I think the strengths outweigh it a lot more, because a lot of those weaknesses you can play around. One thing I kind of like to do though is like, I like to hide it if I can. Like sometimes, like it'll be revealed like in the opening spawn, and you'll be able to see him and he'll see you. But sometimes it won't. Okay, so I see him. He's gonna try to attempt to tunnel me. I'm trying to save decisive if I can, but he kind of stopped. I don't know why. So I don't know why he doesn't come up to try to stop this heal from happening, especially since he should know now that there are two of us. I guess he was chasing somebody else. Yeah, he definitely is. So it's like, okay, just kind of wait to see what he does. We have him lead now. He doesn't have any pressure on the board. I want him to come for me still, because I'm in a better position now. But I decide, okay, I'm just going to use balanced landing here to get away from him. Even though there's no chase happening, I just want to create some distance between us so I could potentially go rush one of the generators, because I want this generator rushed. So, you know, just kind of like let him see that I'm starting pressure, get in his head. Like, I just think there's like a strong mental state that this perk offers. Just kind of get in his head a little bit, like, ha, see what you're doing? You're wasting all that time up there and I'm doing a generator. See, dude? See? Because remember, an angry killer is a bad killer. Angry killer is bad. So, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on him. If you decide to come for me, I think the killer shack's right behind me. But there's no way. I'm looking at how much progress is left, and I'm looking at my toolbox. I'm going, okay, I'm gonna fucking do this before he has the guy downed, or at least before he has her hooked. He might get her down, but okay. So he stopped looking at me. But I still think I'm going to pop the gen. So now I'm thinking, even if he comes to get me, it's still worth it to pop the generator. Gen popped. I'm still in a situation. I'm going to hold this position because this is the killer shack. Kind of, sort of. It's right next to this spot, which is also incredibly safe. So it's like I'm just going to hold this position right now because there's no reason for me to not. I see where you are. You can commit. There's a generator over here. You can hold that. I'm going to hold this position because if you want to come get me, you're going to have problems with doing it. You're going to have problems doing so. Okay, he's running that stupid furtive chase perk. I don't know what that does for any character in this game, honestly. I think that's a bad perk. Like, who cares what your terror radius is when you're in a chase? I don't understand that at all. Because, like, the fact that having a low terror radius is only beneficial if you can sneak up on somebody. When you're in a chase, you're obviously past that part, so I don't understand what furtive chase is there to do. I don't fucking know. Okay, so he gets the down, but I'm good. Like, I got 2 gens done, dude. In the time it took him to do that. So, like, oh yeah. One more weakness of the perk. It also relies on your teammates being good. It does. Because if your teammates aren't good, the benefits that this perk gives you don't really help the team out because the teammates are bad. Okay, so I popped the generator, and like, I'm like, okay, there's another one over here. I have no reason to leave this position yet. And so here's when this is the exact moment that I realized this perk is fucking amazing, at least against Ghostface. This is also the exact point I realized Ghostface doesn't need any nerfs because there's counterplay that exists. Okay, so here I am. I'm working on the gen. He's obviously, I don't know what he's doing yet. He hasn't really committed to anything. He's kind of swerving back and forth. Now I see him coming this way. I'm like, okay, he's coming for me. I have one job. Don't get exposed. So just sit there. I can see everything he does. He has to approach me. He is the killer. He has to approach me to gain momentum. I do not have to leave this position. When he does decide to approach me, I have balance landing. He does get a little bit on me there. I probably could have canceled his power though there, which is what I should have done. He has to approach me. As long as we're looking at each other, I see his aura. He has to approach me. As soon as it looks like he kind of goes left, he comes forward, and so I run off and start the balance landing. Just create as much distance as possible from him. There you go. And then in the time that I think I timed it as like 1 minute and 12 seconds. That entire time, and the last two gens popped during that entire transaction. So good on me, dude. Good on the perk. Wait turn to commit to hit that. I should have vaulted the window. Instead, I came down here looking for an exit, and I try to go for the stupid montage play where you pull down the gen, pull it down, and then run out to the exit that way, but I missed it. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm gonna die, dude. And so they got the gates open. So in the time that it took him to down me, and from when he came up to me, 2 gens popped, and the exit gate got open. And you think this character needs nerfs? If this character gets nerfed, what's gonna happen, dude? Okay, so I got the reveal. Fantastic. Now he's gonna come pick me up, which I think that's some pretty neat Ghostface tech. You can sacrifice your power to find out where somebody is on the ground. That's pretty neat. Okay, so at this point, I know they're gonna try to save me because they don't have any. Because he has so little pressure on the board. I'm like, oh, thanks, dude. Hope you have borrow time. No, well, it's okay because this is a match where I was running Decisive Strike. Picks me up. Not today, bro. This is why Decisive Strike is still a game-changing perk. It's still at least high tier. At least. I still think it's top tier. Just because it can totally save your ass. And then, there you go. Easy, dude. I think this combination of perks and this combination of anti-tunneling will help Object of Obsession benefits stay that way. Stay as benefits. Yes, he could have left me on the ground, but what? Okay, here's that interaction I was talking about earlier. This is what I call a half. No, this isn't the right one. This is a different game. This is just kind of a funny interaction. Okay, so I see that pallet. I know he's coming down here. I'm just keeping a track of my surroundings, looking for like the easiest way out right now. Looking for the stairs. Okay, I see him. I know there's a pallet right behind him, so I'm gonna see which way he goes. I don't know why he's like crouching and stalking. He's just kind of walking. Nope. Okay. He's not going to do anything. I make the first move, drop the pallet, so I know he has to either break it or go all the way around. And then I just go. Easy, dude. Easy. That was a nice interaction. Like, I feel like the game was obviously his already. That was just an interaction I kept, though. Okay. This is another kite. This is a kite I have against Ghostface. Okay, so I dropped the pallet. We'll go to the killer shack now. Again, I look at this as a 1v1 because he's already won the game, obviously. That's why I decided to drop this pallet instead of even attempting to loot the shack. So he exposes me. I wait for him to commit to something. He breaks the pallet, fastball. You see, I decide what my move's going to be based on what he does. He has to approach me because he's on offense. I know I'm exposed, so I make no effort to I just drop the pallet because I know I'm exposed. Just get as much distance as possible from this guy because he's baseline killer. You can loot baseline killer for 40 seconds, guys. If he doesn't get the jump on you, this character's baseline. Now, I should have went to that pallet over there, but I wanted to save it for my next loop. Because my plan right now is just to loop him around that safe zone right there. I survived the exposed status. Just take one hit. Easy, dude. And so that was at least 40 seconds, or 45 seconds, something like that. Drop the pallet. This is a safe pallet. Like, it's not that safe, so I don't, like, continue to mind game it. He misses it, breaks it. I'm already at the next loop. Look at, he's a baseline killer! So I see the red stain, so the fact I can't see him is not horrible. He commits to that, breaks the pallet. This entire chase time is 2 minutes. I go up here. Admittedly, I think I don't know what my mistake was that got me downed. I think it was this play right here, I think was the mistake. I think if I had kept up a little bit longer, I could have made this pallet right here too. So, I hecking kited him for 2 minutes with a misplay. I think that was a misplay. So I think I could have kited him longer. Ghostface is a baseline killer, and I don't think he needs nerf. Even when his power goes off, he's a baseline killer. 45 seconds. What Ghostface is doing is exposing who's bad at kiting and who's not. That's what he's doing, people. Okay, I'm just throwing out the bait. I want to keep him away from my teammate on the generator. So I'm kind of throwing out the bait, trying to keep my teammate safe. Obviously, it doesn't work. He doesn't come after me, which was the play I was trying to go for because I wanted to keep my teammate on the generator safe. So I'm like, okay, he's not coming for me. I'm just gonna keep trying to fix generators. Just keep an eye on what he's doing. Always keep an eye on what he's doing. You have so much benefits. Okay, it looks like he's coming over here. So I'm just going to go this way. Always stay in a range where if he wants to commit to me, he's going to have to start the chase from like halfway across the map, essentially. Okay, so he's still in a position where he could come get me. I see, okay, I see the interaction. Okay, our paths have crossed. He does get me here, I believe. He does get the first hit. No, okay, yeah, he makes the commitment. He has no terror radius right now. I think he's trying to expose me. Yeah. Which I didn't even make any attempt to counter. Because I think, at this point, I'm getting cocky and think I can just heck outlast it every time. Which I don't think I do here, do I? No, I don't think so. Commits to the pallet, just smack him in the head because he's baseline killer. Although he doesn't break the pallet. So I believe I take the hit. I misplayed again. I accidentally hecked up. But it's okay, because again, I was the first down. It took him a little bit to do that. It took him... I wasn't really keeping track of this one just because it wasn't my best kite of the game, I don't really think. He hooks me, and I believe 2 gens popped. All these... Or listen to that, I'm picking up a different game. This Ghostface wasn't too bad. No, I'm thinking of a different game. One time I got hooked and 2 gens popped. Okay, so I see him. I know what's about to happen. He's about to save me, and this hook rescue is safe. So I just want to get away from my teammate because I don't want my teammate to be put in danger because of my perk. So I'm in a position now where I don't really want him to see my aura, just because like I want to like make sure I get all healed up. So I take a brief glance at where he is. I thought balanced landing was going to trigger there. And so I'm like, okay, so he's basically halfway across the map right now. If he wants to tunnel me, he has to really take a break from what he's doing right now. If he's in a chase, he has to drop it. So I am 90% sure this heal is safe, so I take it. Okay, now that I'm ready again, I'm all healed up. I'm ready, so I'm ready to like see where he is. But I still haven't rushed a generator yet, because he was running Franklin's demise too, so I dropped my toolbox. Because I still think an important part of this strategy is that the person running Object of Obsession needs to be able to rush a generator. So I need to put my time in on the generator. So I see him kind of coming. He's getting close. So I'm like, okay, he's coming. He has shown me his cards because he had no choice. He's coming. He's probably going to get the Ash. So I'm thinking, yeah, he hit the Ash. Who I don't hate anymore, by the way. Metal Man's way better now. So I'm just like, okay. This is the part where you have to have faith in Ash's kiting ability. This is the weakness of the perk. You have to have faith in Ash a little bit. Go in the locker. I'm thinking he thinks I left, which is why I got in that locker. Because he thinks I'm probably out and about hiding my aura from him, because the survivor can actually do that. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm going to come back and do the generator a little bit more. Wait for him to come back, maybe. So I'm on the generator, overcharge, but not very high leveled. So you can just kind of pick the game apart. This perk allows you to pick the game apart. And you could say it's a gimmick. Oh, okay, here comes a half loop I was talking about like way earlier. This part right here is a half loop. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything because I want you to show me your cards. This part I can continue going back and forth on for a little bit. Okay, he turns around. Okay, I'm just going to sit right here. I'm going to come back down here. Okay, fine. And then, okay. He tried to mix me up, so I'm able to go back down and get another rotation off it. Waste a little bit more of his time. So now he's like, okay, fuck this. He's committed. He's committed now. So now I'm going to go, okay, balance landing. Balance landing, create even more distance. And now turn around. Where are you, big boy? Alright, here I am. Come get me. So now he's on me. Vaulted. I take a hit here. No, he just exposes me. Which, again, the exposed there doesn't actually matter. Because realistically, I should have gotten hit there. So, like, the fact he exposed me, who the fuck cares? He should have just hit me. Drop the pallet on him. So, okay, I got escape again. I'm deciding to go back down here because I think that's the place where he's not expecting me to go. And I assume he's still on me though. Lose him. See, easy. And then we have 2 gens left, so gens are popping during this time. And then see how he's like, he's not like halfway across the map, but he's a bit away. So he had to stop what he's doing and come over here. And what I notice here, he ignores my teammates, so I must have been making him mad, because he ignores my teammates that are on the generator, who would have been a correct play to actually go after them. So I get hit, which I should have gotten hit earlier, but since he decided to expose me, again, instead of actually hitting me, he didn't down me there. See? This power has strengths and weaknesses. It can be misused. And then I get down here, I should have went around. I think that pallet was safer than I thought it was, because like I don't really act as a kiter yet, so like I'm still learning which loops are safe and which ones aren't, because I'm not. This perk has allowed me to become a much more sufficient kiter than I was before, to the point where you could argue that it carries me, honestly. So back to that Facebook, the guy that said like it makes you a target. Fucking bad on hooks, dude. Like, that wasn't anybody's fault, and then he knows I think he just goes after her, not because he knows I have D-strike, but because she was right there, and it was a bad on hook. But then he decides to not pick me up, so I think he is assuming I have decisive strike just because I'm playing Laurie Strode, which is why you might want to run this on a character that's not Laurie, just because you want to like make him guess if you have decisive strike or not. But I like Laurie because Halloween, and that's so at this point I'm thinking I'm dead, and I don't know why he doesn't just he doesn't pick me up because of decisive strike. At this point I'm thinking I need to get healed like right now or I'm gonna die. And thankfully, see, the teammates had the awareness to come get me too, which is why this perk kind of relies on your teammates having some awareness too. Which is why at break 20, this perk doesn't really work. I tried. I played on my girlfriend's account a little bit, and that's going to be our incoming Rose Garden, because the girlfriend is probably not who you think it is. But yeah, I play on her account, and like, yeah, I did sufficient. And then but like it didn't exactly work. A balanced landing, I see that balanced landing was to create distance. I see the med kit that was probably dropped from for our friend with because of Franklin's demise. So I'm thinking, okay, this heal is gonna be easy. Just gotta hide the aura really quickly. And while I get the heal with the med kit. Which is why it doesn't matter how you heal, you have to heal fast as fucking possible when you run this. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, just gotta keep... I'm not necessarily want to show my cards because I want to go to the exit gate and try to pump it open real fast. So I don't necessarily want him to see me. So I can control that, but the killer can't because of what he has to do. The role in the match he takes. He can't control if the person sees him or not. So he's going to be making worse plays than the survivor running this perk. Which is why this perk is fucking god, and I don't understand why people don't run this fucking thing. If this perk can stretch me, a bad kiter, to having like 2.5 minute chases, it's doing something right. Gates open. This is officially a safe spot. So now I want him to see me. Hell yeah, dude. And so I'm thinking, okay, I could try to go for this, or I could try to bait him over here. I could make him think I'm trying to go for it. There's so many things I can do right now. I think that person ends up dying, though, if I remember correctly, because he just kind of starts taking a campier role because he wants at least one kill. So he kind of just stays in that general area, which is okay. In Identity 5, that's called a sacrifice, and we win the game. I think. Well, I mean, I know it's called a sacrifice, but I think that person ends up dying. Yeah, I think. Well, I think she like ends up killing herself too. Like, I think these two. I think we were all set on getting this rescue, and she just lets herself die. So I'm like, okay, lets herself die. No guilt anymore, just because of the fact she let herself die. And here's the best thing about Object of Obsession. Cross-map teabags! Yeah, boy! I can teabag you from across the map, and you can see it! Hey, troll. And then you get out, easy. So... Potential, I think is what I'm trying to get out here. Especially against M1 killers. It's mouse 1 for anybody who doesn't know the game's terminology. They're called M1 killers because they use basic attacks only. The potential for M1 that this has to beat M1 killers is pretty nuts, actually. And so, last game, not Ghostface this time. This one, I believe, was against a doctor who doesn't exactly... And, like, it's like, this is why I want to talk about how it negates things. It doesn't necessarily negate things. Like, barbecue and chili will still go off when someone gets hooked. But it's like, hi, you can always see me. So what difference does it matter, dude? So I'm just kind of running it, looking at his perk selection. Like, that new perk, I'm all ears. If I do a fast fall out of his range, I don't care. He can always see me. So I kind of started this one a little bit in just because I was pressed for time with SHAREfactory. So I think at this state in the game, I just got off a hook for the first time. But this was the game where I got hooked and then 2 gens popped immediately. It was this game right here. And so, like, okay... The thing that Doctor does against this perk is you have a little bit more trouble hiding from Doctor just because it's Doctor, and you always have trouble hiding against him. So heals are going to be a bit harder in this matchup, but that's about it. That's the biggest difference, and he opts to go tunnel that guy so the heal is going to be safe. Because people don't run borrowed time, and I don't know why. How do people not have room in their builds for borrowed time? It's like honestly, I don't understand it. Like, I don't have borrowed time in my build because I legit think it's not necessary. But even with that, it's not necessary. It is literally the next perk I would bring. Like, if there was a 5th perk slot, it's the perk I'd throw on there. That or empathy. I think borrowed time 5, empathy 6. Because even then, the ability to just, like, even if it's not necessary, it's still really fucking good and can turn a fucking match around. It's always top 5 perks you bring, honestly. And I don't know why more people don't bring it as a killer. And so, that hook happens. Although I think that person didn't even get tunneled. So I think that's another Ash. We're about to pop this one because what's he going to do to stop us? But just in case I decide to not, I keep my cards close to my chest because that's the option I have as the survivor until I know the gen's done. And so then I let him see we popped it, and I let him see that I was responsible to help me pop it. Again, kind of trying to keep my teammates safe. Because that's the thing, as many options as Object of Obsession can punish you and your teammates, it can also save you. So, okay, looking at, I hear the Ash scream, so I know he's over there. So which means, okay, this hook rescue is completely safe. Unless the doctor breaks chase with the Ash. So, okay, get the Neo off the hook, easy. Now I'm looking for him, because I want to try to bait him over to me if he's not, but I think he's still working on the Ash, yeah. He's still working on the Ash, so I'm like, okay, generator. Easy, dude. This game's easy. Easy, dude. And so, okay, he's kind of getting closer to me. So, like, yeah, the illusionary doctors let him know I'm here, but it's like, who the fuck cares? Because I'm always revealed to him. Always. Every time. I'm never not revealed. Which, like, okay, which again, sounds bad on paper, but, like, when it negates the information he gets from barbecue, it negates the information that doctor's perks, all the doctor's kit gives him, because, like, it doesn't matter that he's doing that because he always knows where I am, and I'm always in a position to where it doesn't matter that he gets my aura reading. And even when he does, when we get close, I'm always make sure I'm at the safest spot possible that I can possibly be at. So he comes in, I don't know this person's dead, which is my fault. So, like, I kind of, after I see he's dead, I just break for it. So I'm like, okay, he's going to be on me now. I can easily predict what's going to happen next. But again, that's not object. That's just me knowing the game. So I'm like, okay, I managed to get a decent amount away before that happened. So I'm like, okay. Now that that happened, just kind of check for him. And I obviously made a good decision to check for him because he came this way. Tier 3 though, I hit tier 3. And so now I'm just thinking, okay, we can see what he does next. I'm thinking he's going to come after me, which I am correct. He is now after me, probably because my madness is the highest. But it's all right. I'm not in danger yet. Well, I mean, he's on me. He actually gets me pretty good here. He does a very good mix-up, comes behind the pallet and whacks me, which was very good on him, and bad on me for not staring at him to get his aura reading. So I see that pallet, decide to drop it, and it was the correct play. And I decided to just leave it. And the reason I decided to leave the pallet is because earlier he fucked me up really bad on a pallet, which I believe he does again, like right here. Yeah. This doctor was like very good at mind games and mix-ups, and I think he is honestly this guy right here was the best at counterplaying Object of Obsession. He always made sure we were not in direct eye contact during a chase, so good on him. This guy, I kind of knew how to counterplay the perk. Like, my chases here weren't exactly long, but they were what they needed to be. Because, I mean, like, pre the start of the match, I kited him for a bit, and 2 gens popped when I got on the hook. Which, again, this whole match is on my channel. I know no one gives 2 fucking shits, but I'm just throwing that out there. If you really want to see it, it's there. So, me and the Ash obviously split that timer, and then we got one generator done in that time. Not the best I've ever done with this perk, but like it was a different matchup, so I was kind of adjusting to it. Especially with playing nothing but Ghostface, you see something else that kind of catches you off guard a little bit. So, okay, so he's on the Ash. I think he's on the Ash. He's not looking at me, so I can't really see. But I just kind of know that's what he's doing. So I'm like, okay, so I need to snap out of it right here. I fucked that up, though. So I was like, damn it. It's like, he downed the Ash, so I'm like, okay, we gotta snap out of it right now. I had a fairly easy time snapping out of it there. That was not a challenging one at all. And so now I'm like, okay, so that's phase 1. Now we gotta get the heal. So I'm still hiding my aura. I don't think he's gonna expect me to stay right by the place he unhooked me, because I would not, as a killer, go back. So I'm thinking just staying right here was the correct option. And because I was put in a bad spot, though, we're kind of relying on the Nia to get the Ash, which I believe she already did. No, she didn't. Okay, yeah, there she did. I can't even see what I'm doing. So the Nia got the Ash, which is, again, this is why this kind of relies on your teammates. Because we would have lost had the Nia not gotten the Ash there. So I'm like, okay, it's my job now to finish the generator. Overcharge at a higher level. My job now, pop generator. Because I haven't really had time to like pop my generator. See, I didn't have, because I was kiting a lot during the match, I didn't have time to pop my generator, which look how many generators are left, boys. Which is why the object of the session needs to be able to rush gen. I don't know why I bring flashlights. I never use them. I never use them, dude. Alright. We about to pop it. Wish we could just speed this part up, but that's okay, dude. So, because there's a minute and a half, I'll just start concluding thoughts. Right after I was talking with that guy, he gave me a post back about like 8 hours later, and he's like, I just played somebody who was using this perk as Ghostface. It was so obnoxious, it made the game totally not fun, and I DC'd. So, if that doesn't tell you this perk has potential, I don't know what is. Is it a gimmick perk? I think that's what the community's general consensus is right now, that it's kind of a gimmick. But, like, it's a gimmick worth having, in my opinion. And I honestly think it's very underutilized. It's a very underappreciated perk. And I think it has way more potential than people give it credit for. And I know there's no no-ed, so I just take the hit there. And we're going to run towards the gate. And I think he's going to go... He can go after any one of us. Honestly, we're both one hook away from dying. But this perk is something I think survivors should look into just a tiny bit more. And just because it has so much potential, especially in the new Ghostface matchup. And if you're looking for Ghostface counterplay, this is it. This is the best perk in the toolbox for countering Ghostface. It ensures he can't stalk you. And I don't know what more you people want. Ghostface doesn't need nerfed. Actually experiment and try to find new options instead of just relying on the same old bag of tricks you have since 2016. Thank you. And goodbye.